there has been a lot of discussion of rape when it pertains to the country of India. Now, rape and sexual assault have been a huge, huge problem there. So, for example, there's that story of the 23-year-old student that actually died from internal injuries suffered from a gang rape by 6 people on a New Delhi bus.
Yeah.
Horrible. Now, since then, of course, there's been a lot more public attention and outrage, rightfully so, on this topic. So when the leader of the Central Bureau of Investigation of India, a man named Ranjit Sihna, I don't know if I'm saying that right, I always butcher names, made a rather insensitive comment during a conference, the entire internet melted down. So what did he say? Well, he was on a panel recently talking about the legalization of gambling, and he made an absolutely unfortunate analogy. Now he said, quote, "If you cannot enforce the ban on betting, it is like saying if you can't prevent rape, you lay down and enjoy it." Thoughts?
Well, this also reminds me of Cohen. It's very similar because how old is this guy? He's an old guy. And
Yeah.
I think that there has been the belief that men are just wild animals. They can't control themselves. They can't keep their things in their pants. And if a woman wears a short skirt, oh my God, the man can't control himself. And so I think there's this thought that sometimes that it's it's natural that women should expect to be raped, and that it's a normal thing that happens in society and in culture,
especially male-dominated societies.
And so, I mean, I don't know. It's more than unfortunate that he said that. It's so weird because you don't like. Why would you use that analogy?
Right.
I think immediately when I read that, it did make me think of, like rape is normal. Women should expect to be attacked if they do certain things or dress in a certain way or look at a certain look.
I thought about Steubenville, Ohio.
There's another example, yeah.
It's more than an unfortunate analogy. I mean, it was really like the worst thing he could have said, and it doesn't make sense. You're not quite sure what it's supposed to mean.
And why would his mind make that connection?
Right.
When you're making an analogy.
Right. I mean,
I've made some poor analogies, but it's because they didn't make sense, not because.
And you don't go to rape
like that. Yeah.
Rape.
Who defaults to thinking of rape when they try to make an analogy?
Right.
It's somebody who's got it on their mind.
Well, perhaps that's true, but maybe look how long men got away with raping women without having repercussions, and look at some of the other countries in the Middle East where women are punished for being raped as if it's their fault, and men, it's normal because men need to have sex. And so maybe that's part of the mentality, is that he just thinks that that's normal. And so, I mean, who was the guy? There was a political guy here in the States that said that women should
Todd Aiken and legitimate rape?
Yeah, well, and there was, I don't know if it was him, if he said, or it was another guy who said that, if it's good, once it happens, you should just lay back and enjoy it and just let it happen instead of trying to fight back.
Yeah.
And it's like, what are you talking about? All of this is super weird. I mean, I don't know who pulls out a statement like that. It's confusing, to say the least.
Like I said, incredibly unfortunate because, like I said, India has a huge, huge problem with sexual assault.
So I think that maybe, maybe it is like this cultural norm, this thing that people think that it's normal, that's something that will happen to women. Well,
the CBI issued a clarification, apparently a clarification, and Mr. Sihna tried to defend himself by saying, well, quote, "I gave my opinion that betting should be legalized and laws cannot be enforced. That does not mean that laws should not be made. This is as erroneous as saying that rape is inevitable and one should lie back and enjoy it." So a little bit of context, I think, was needed in that. But do you guys think that that's enough?
It's weird to compare gambling and rape.
Right.
Because one you're going into with a completely willing, and I make a bet, I'm completely willing, and it's mutual thing.
And he's saying that gambling happens, that people are going to gamble whether it's illegal or not, which is probably true. So therefore we should regulate it. I get that part, but like rape, it just doesn't make any sense because rape should be illegal, even though it's going to happen, even though it's illegal, doesn't mean that you shouldn't do anything about it. So
exactly.
It's very confusing.
He should have said, we can't be everywhere all the time when rapes occur. It's impossible, but we shall prosecute them to the fullest of the law.
He shouldn't have brought up rape at all.
Yeah, he shouldn't have brought it up at all.
Gambling. He's talking about gambling.
He was talking about gambling to begin with.
And there's just no comparison. There's no reason to even talk about rape or use that comparison in any way. It's just inappropriate.
And like I said, it's a really big topic there. And look, the problem is really bad. And according to The Guardian, Indian police estimate that 4 out of 10 rapes, only 4 in 10 out of rapes are reported, as officers often fail to take complaints of sexual violence seriously. Victims are often stigmatized or ostracized by their own communities following an attack.
Right.
And it's just like what you were saying earlier.
Right.
You know, they're often punished for it.
Right.
No, it's not there. Well, you should have done. That's your fault. You knew better. You shouldn't have gone out there and did that.
Drinking and walking out of that club at 2 a.m.
You shouldn't have been looking.
You shouldn't have been wearing a dress that shows off.
You shouldn't have looked at him like that. Exactly. You should always have a male chaperone with you.
Exactly. So
it's always trying to put it on the victim.
You're right, especially in a culture like that when it's a rampant problem.
You're a law enforcement official.
Yeah. Clearly, they're failing to protect people and to enforce their laws.
And that's a good point right there, because a recent study of 40 rape cases tried by the district courts in New Delhi resulted in acquittals found that more than half were due to police failure to perform adequate investigations. Now, this guy is supposed to be leading this stuff. The CBI was set up to go after terrorism and rape cases. And they're doing a terrible job. They're failing at their job.
Right.
So, does it seem to me? It seems to me, I think, that he's bringing this up. It kind of trivializes it, because I don't think that he makes such a big deal about it, because I don't think it's important to him.
Right.
Because like some of the points that you had brought up earlier is the fact that he didn't. I mean, he's an older gentleman, and he's in that older mindset, and so. I mean, or unless I'm being unfair to him, which, I don't know if I am.
Yeah, it's you hear these things like, I don't know who this guy is,
Yeah.
But when you look at the failures of the police, when you hear these instances of injustice, and then you hear the guy who's supposed to be the head of it making light and comparing rape to comparing and enforcing laws about rape and gambling, it's totally weird, and it really it does make you think that he doesn't care, and he doesn't, and that he thinks that there's obviously a mindset in the department that says it's women's fault and blames them and doesn't want to do anything about it.
Yeah, and so it just leads me to my question. And we're going to go to a guilty or not guilty.
All right. Guilty.
Guilty.
Totally.
That's just, how you don't see that is really insensitive to, especially in a place where there's such a problem.
Yeah.
And such, so many big cases that have been publicized that are just grotesque and disgusting.
So do you think he should? Do you think he should lose his job for it, or, I mean, what do you think? Should he be suspended, or?
I think he should probably lose his job for the fact that on the failures of the police department that he's supposed to be leading, and their handling of these situations and the failures of the department. Clearly, he's an ineffective leader.
Yeah, he's like a bullhorn for the. Exactly the thing they don't need.
Right. And I would have been, before, if I didn't know about the failures of the unit that he was trying to lead, right? If I didn't know about that, I would have said suspension, you know, guilty, suspension,
Mhm.
you know, let him learn his lesson at home for a while and think, boy, that was
Give
stupid.
them
And
some
then,
sensitivity training.
right. But now that I know that he's failing at his job
Yeah.
in order to do what he's supposed to do, and just a record of,
Right.
you know, not prosecuting rape
Yeah.
because he's not doing a good enough job. He's not instructing his officers to do a good enough job. No, totally guilty.
Yeah. If he walks around,
Lose your job. You suck at your job.
yeah. If he's the leader and he's walking around comparing rape and gambling, he's a horrible leader. He's
Yeah.
terrible. No wonder the department sucks. Yeah.
And it's not just, like I said, what he said, even though it was pretty heinous and
Yeah.
and stupid. It's what he did. It's what he does. It's
Right.
his actions,
Right.
and that's why guilty. It's unanimous.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks for watching this video. Please leave a comment below, and if you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the like button and share with your friends. If you want to see more, go to our channel at youtube.com/tytnation, and if you really want to support the show, support this channel, go to our fundraising campaign at www.patreon.com/tytnation. The website is in the description below. Thank you guys, and keep watching.